Hello, this video is about finding love and romance in recovery, and if there can even be such a thing. I say romance in recovery just because I love an alliteration, but I really mean just like having a partner through recovery. I'm not the best person to speak on this because I haven't had a relationship in like over 3 years, but maybe that also gives me some distance to talk about it. I know that my eating disorder has played a big role in the lack of love in my life, and that's really hard. It drives people away, which is understandable, and a lot of baggage does come with it, so it's a lot for other people to take on that baggage and become a part of your life when you're going through something like this. I've wanted a relationship for a while. I have this feeling that it could potentially be beneficial for my recovery. It could help motivate me to recover, and also it could add in another really solid support person to my whole support system. But part of me feels like I also can't be a good partner without being more recovered. Part of me is also hesitant and really scared to trust and be vulnerable with another person. This may sound familiar, like a familiar feeling to some of you out there, just the whole idea of wanting a relationship, but also being scared and knowing that you need to focus on yourself first before that can even happen. But I'm not gonna lie, it's heartbreaking to be single and alone, and when you do truly want a partner. Just for me, it makes me feel unwanted, unattractive, unworthy, etc. It almost is like evidence fueling the negative self-talk that's already in my head. So how do you navigate this place of loneliness, but also needing to prioritize yourself? Is it even possible to recover and maintain a healthy relationship with another person? I know there are people who have done it, but I feel like in most situations like that, the person was a partner. There was a relationship that exists before the diagnosis or before the realization that recovery needed to happen. So I guess more specifically, I'm wondering if it's realistic to start dating and start opening yourself up to other people while also being in full-time recovery. On the mental and emotional availability side of things, having an eating disorder or another addiction or mental illness is already almost like having a full-blown relationship. It takes up so much time and energy and attention, so there might not even be room for anything else. Also, battling intense anxiety poses a huge barrier and can make it feel impossible to go out and meet people, go on dates, and just generally be yourself. Any mental illness poses a barrier to these simple things, and therefore can isolate you and tie your identity further to that illness. I feel like people can sense when something is up most of the time, and I know for sure people have steered clear of me because they can sense that I do carry a lot of baggage, even if they like me as a person. I can be very closed off in order to protect my eating disorder and not really showcase all that I have to offer. Another thing to mention here is that intense body dysmorphia and body image issues can also be a huge barrier to being in a relationship. When you don't feel comfortable in your own skin, it's so difficult to let someone be close to you or touch you or pay attention to your body in any way. Trauma can also be a factor here, as a lot of people, myself included, dive into their eating disorder after some kind of abuse. The voice in your head tells you that it's the only thing that you can trust, and so you're unable to fully trust others, which is such a key part of any relationship. on the physical and more like physiological side of things, being underweight and under a lot of stress actually decreases certain hormones in your body, and your libido. Might be a TMI thing, but I know personally my own sex drive has been non-existent for years, and along with the fact that I've lost my period for a number of years as well, it signals that my body is just like unfit to even like think about reproduction or like having a partner or anything like that. So that's kind of the more like scientific way of saying it, that your body's just kind of like shutting down that manner of operation and not directing energy into thinking about being with somebody or finding a partner, finding a mate. But basically, I find it very difficult to even imagine wanting to be with someone intimately due to trauma, body dysmorphia, and physiological issues. But this doesn't mean that I don't want that in my life. I hate feeling alone and single. It sucks. It sucks, especially when it seems like everyone else around you has that part of their life. But I suppose all I can do is just use that as motivation to make myself better and actually be more of myself again, and hopefully the right person will come along at the right time. So if this sounds like you out there, if you're struggling through recovery and trying to heal yourself, but also crave some sort of partnership, you're not alone. I suppose everything happens in its own time, and that's really hard to have blind faith in. If you're in a relationship and going through recovery, let me know how you're able to balance that. I'm still wondering if it's even possible to do. I hope that one day soon I'll be able to shower someone else with love and attention and time. But right now, I guess I need to be selfish and patient to a certain extent. Things don't happen overnight. Relationships don't happen overnight. Recovery certainly doesn't happen overnight. And I have to radically accept that, and radically accept that romance in my life is something I'm just not mentally or physically ready for. I know that I am loved regardless. You are loved regardless. And even though it's hard, and just because you feel alone and single and shitty and frustrated doesn't mean you don't have people in your corner. So yeah, I guess that is all to say that I sometimes do feel that hole in my life where I really, really just want a partner to spend time with, and somebody just to call my partner. I think that's a thing I've been missing a lot over the past few years, just because everything's been taken up by the eating disorder and by being in treatment and going through recovery. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it might just be that it's not possible for me to do both. So I don't know. I'm gonna stay hopeful, and just trust that everything happens in its own time. And I'm interested to know other people's thoughts on this topic, and if you think it's possible to put yourself out there while also making sure that you are doing what you need to do for yourself. So I don't know. That's all I wanted to talk about today. I think this is a very interesting topic, and it's kind of been on my mind a lot recently. And yeah, I'm interested to know your thoughts.